The story of When a South African Gang Boss Messed with the Colombian Cartel is a chilling narrative that summarizes the high stakes, international alliances, and brutal consequences within the global drug trafficking network. This incident involves Peter Jagers, a notorious figure in South Africa's criminal underworld, whose actions or misjudgments led to a dramatic showdown with the Colombian drug cartels, specifically the Oficina de Envigado, which had connections with the notorious Medellin cartel. Early life and criminal beginnings. Peter Jagers was a significant figure within South Africa's criminal underworld, particularly known for his association with one of the notorious prison gangs, the 27s or the Numbers Gang. Here are detailed aspects of his background based on available information. Origin: Jagers was from Cape Town, where he likely grew up amidst the socio-economic challenges that often push individuals into criminal activities. Criminal initiation. His involvement with crime likely began early, though specifics on how he entered the criminal world are sparse. The Numbers gangs, including the 27s, have a strong presence both in and out of South African prisons, and membership often starts in youth. Rise in the criminal hierarchy. Association with the 27s. Peter Jagers was reputed to be a high-ranking member of the 27s, which is known for its involvement in drug trafficking, extortion, and murder. The 27s are particularly notorious for their control over prison life and extending their influence outside prison walls. Leadership and control. Jagers was believed to have been a gang boss or at least a significant leader within the 27s, managing operations from drug distribution to settling disputes among gang members. His leadership was characterized by a blend of strategic alliances and violent enforcement. Criminal activities. Drug trafficking. Jagers was deeply involved in the drug trade, focusing on cocaine, which is a major commodity for South African gangs due to both local consumption and as a transit point for international markets. Violence and intimidation. His reputation was built on a foundation of violence. The Numbers gangs, including the 27s, are known for their brutal enforcement tactics, including the use of ritualistic killings to maintain order and respect. Corruption and influence. Like many gang leaders, Jagers would have had to navigate or manipulate local corruption to sustain his operations, suggesting he had connections or influence with some law enforcement or political figures. International connections. The Colombian Cartel incident. Jagers' most infamous moment was his entanglement with the Colombian drug cartels. This incident highlighted his attempt to play on a larger international stage, which ultimately led to his downfall. His dealings with international groups like the Bulgarian Mafia and the Colombian Cartel showed his ambition to expand his influence beyond South Africa. Personal life. Family. Jagers was married, and it was his wife who reported him missing, setting off the chain of events that confirmed his kidnapping and eventual murder. Little else is publicly known about his immediate family or personal life outside his criminal activities. Public persona. While not much is known about his personal demeanor, his public persona was one of fear and respect within the criminal community, a testament to his control and the fear he instilled. Death and legacy. Kidnapping and murder. Jagers was kidnapped in Gauteng after a failed drug deal involving a significant cocaine shipment. His body was later found in a dam in the Free State, indicating the brutal end to his life at the hands of the Colombian cartel. Impact on local crime. His death likely left a power vacuum in the local drug trade and within the 27s, potentially leading to internal conflicts or a power struggle among other gang members or rival gangs. Symbol of criminal overreach. Jagers' story serves as a stark warning about the dangers of overreaching in the criminal world, especially when dealing with international cartels who have both the means and the ruthlessness to enforce their will violently. Peter Jagers, therefore, was not just another criminal but a symbol of how local crime can intersect with global drug networks, leading to dramatic and often fatal consequences. His background, while not fully detailed in public records, paints a picture of a man who rose through the ranks of organized crime in South Africa, only to meet his end through an ill-fated international deal. Background. Peter Jagers, known in Cape Town for his association with the 27s, one of the Numbers gangs that operate within and outside South African prisons, Jagers was a significant player in the local drug scene. His rise in the criminal hierarchy was marked by violence, control over drug routes, and maintaining a complex network of dealers and enforcers. His reputation for ruthlessness made him both feared and respected in the local criminal milieu. The Colombian connection. The Colombian cartels, particularly post-Pablo Escobar, have evolved but retained their stronghold on the cocaine trade. The Oficina de Envigado, originally a hit squad for the Medellin cartel, shifted to drug trafficking after Escobar's death, becoming a key player in exporting cocaine to various parts of the world, including Africa. The deal and the disaster. The saga began with an ambitious deal that aimed to solidify Jagers' position as a key player in the international drug trade. This deal involved the Bulgarian connection. Bulgarians were often used as intermediaries due to their strategic position in Europe, facilitating the movement of drugs from South America to Europe via Africa. The South African network. Jagers was to receive, store, and distribute a large shipment of cocaine, leveraging his control over local logistics and corrupt officials. The Colombian Cartel. They supplied the cocaine, expecting a smooth operation that would broaden their market without the direct risk of international travel. The deal was supposed to be straightforward. Cocaine would be shipped to South Africa, where Jagers would ensure its safekeeping and distribution. However, somewhere in this chain, whether through betrayal, greed, or simple miscommunication, the shipment either vanished or was significantly compromised. The kidnapping. In response to this failure, the Colombians took drastic action. On July 5, Jagers was reported missing by his wife after he did not return from a trip to Gauteng. The kidnappers, believed to be from the Colombian Cartel, had snatched him near the Emperor's Palace in Kempton Park. The ransom. The demands were clear: return the missing drugs or pay a ransom of $50 million, approximately $3.2 million at the time. They sent a voice note to his family, filled with threats and instructions, and a photograph showing Jagers alive but clearly under duress, to prove they had him. The execution. When the demands were not met satisfactorily, or perhaps as a statement of power and to deter others from similar missteps, Jagers was killed. His body, along with another man's, was found in a dam in the Free State, chained and weighed down with sandbags, a grim testament to the cartel's brutality. Analysis of the incident. Criminal dynamics. This incident reveals several layers of the criminal world. International alliances and betrayals. The story underscores how international crime is no longer just about local gangs but involves sophisticated networks where trust is precarious, and betrayal is a high-stakes gamble. Violence as communication. The use of extreme violence serves not only as punishment but also as a message to other potential betrayers or competitors. The Colombian cartels are known for their willingness to enforce discipline through terror. Logistical challenges. Drug trafficking involves complex logistics, from sourcing to shipping, storage, and distribution. Any weak link can lead to catastrophic failure, as seen here. Corruption and local support. For operations of this scale, local corruption is often necessary. The involvement of corrupt officials or the lack thereof could have played a role in the deal's failure. Implications for South Africa. Increased gang violence. This incident might have escalated local gang conflicts, as others might see this as an opportunity to seize power or territory left vulnerable by Jagers' death. Law enforcement challenges. South African law enforcement faces significant challenges with such international crimes. The transnational nature of drug trafficking necessitates cooperation that isn't always forthcoming or effective. Community impact. Beyond the criminal circles, such events have ripple effects on communities through increased drug availability, violence, and corruption. Global drug trade insights. Shifting power dynamics. The incident shows how even well-established cartels must continuously assert their power, especially when expanding into new markets or dealing with local operators. Risks of expansion. For cartels like those from Colombia, expanding to Africa involves new risks, including dealing with local criminal elements who might not fully understand or respect the cartel's reach and ruthlessness. The role of intermediaries. The use of intermediary countries or groups like the Bulgarians highlights a global web where each link must be meticulously managed to avoid such catastrophes. Conclusion. The story of Peter Jagers and his fatal encounter with the Colombian cartel is not just a tale of crime gone wrong but a vivid illustration of the complexities, dangers, and brutal realities of international drug trafficking. It serves as a cautionary tale about the perils of betrayal in the criminal world, the lengths cartels will go to protect their interests, and the human cost of the drug trade. This narrative also opens up discussions on law enforcement strategies, international cooperation against crime, and the socio-economic conditions that allow such criminal enterprises to flourish. Ultimately, it's a stark reminder of how personal ambition in the underworld can lead to a grim and public end.